Hey guys, Coach Keith Keppner here. We're going to talk about things that you do every single day, not in the gym, but just throughout your entire day and day life when you're not even thinking about it, that could be holding you back from getting better at boxing or could actually be making you worse at boxing. Because boxing, as most people know, or maybe you don't, so let me tell you, it's not natural. Nothing in boxing is largely natural. And you could say, oh, it's natural for humans to fight. Yes, but to fight well within the restrictions of boxing, not necessarily. Think about it. When something comes at you, you want to close your eyes, right? When someone throws something at you, like a punch or anything, you want to protect your eyes. You want to turn your head away, things of that nature, maybe look down. There's so many things. I'm not going to go into it in this video. Now, why should you listen to me? I've been a professional amateur boxing coach for going on about 15 years now. I've taken many people from absolute zero beginners, never putting on a pair of gloves before, and built them to elite levels. I was coached by my father, who's a professional boxing coach, and mentored by him as a coach. And he was coached as a fighter and mentored as a coach under Chuck Bodak, who worked with over 50 world champions. And he was the Olympic coach for Muhammad Ali. Let's talk about 7 things that you need to be a little bit more mindful of throughout your day if you want to fast track yourself to boxing success. Because some of these things might be impacting you right now and you don't even realize it. And some things might impact you in the future. And because of this video, you might know about it. All right. First one is you're too heely. What does that mean? Heely. Mean the heel of your foot. All right. So this is the heel of your foot. This is the ball of the foot. Okay. The heel is the furthest thing from your toe. And the ball of your foot is that thing that when you stand up and do a calf raise, now you're on the balls of your feet. Throughout our day, we walk heel toe, heel toe. A lot of times when you are out running, I see so many people, I know so many boxers, they'll be running with heel toe instead of running more on the balls of their feet, just like you want to be a good boxer. You can't do anything on your heels. But even throughout your day, how much do you walk around just heel toe? How about you try to walk around just a little bit more midfoot, a little bit more mid part of the foot. So you're landing like this more so than boom, bam, boom, bam. Because when you do that, it's energy efficient in the sense that you're taking it off your muscles, but now you're putting it straight on your joint. So when you're running, that's bad. You're also decelerating yourself as you're running because you're putting out your feet in front a little bit and slowing you down, putting brakes on you every time you run. But then in the sport of boxing, if you hit with the heel part of your foot first, you have to let the ball hit before you can move off of it, right? Think about if you're going to jump or anything, you can't jump off your heels. Try and do it right now. That's not going to do it. But the second I go on the balls of my feet, boom, I can get some spring. I can move. Many fighters, think about Roberto Duran, famous fight with Sugar Ray Leonard in the rematch, no mas. He's a heel stepper. That's why he had some trouble with movement. Don't have that be your trouble. And so many beginners have that trouble. They jab in, hit with the heel first. And when that heel hits first, they can't do anything until that ball connects to the floor. All right. So one thing too is when I noticed this for myself, because I was pretty heely, is when I would cut corners, right? So I would stop, go around a corner. Let me pull this down here real quick. So boom. So you get a chance to see what I'm talking about. So again, instead of walking so much like this every day, how about we walk just a little bit more midfoot. And then when you run on the balls of your feet, not heel toe. But I would do this to cut corners and stuff like that. Maybe I would stop here and need a turn, and I'd turn on the heel of my foot. Nah. How about even if you are walking like that, stop, boom, set, turn on the ball of your foot. Someone says, hey, Coach Keith. Oh, boom, turn, bam, right there. So you're practicing the exact things that you need to practice when you're actually boxing. Now, number 2, we're going to talk about too much dominant hand. All right, right now I'm doing it. I'm right-handed. I'm holding this mic with my right hand. No. You ever heard of a fighter named Joe Louis? One of the greatest heavyweight champions in the history of sport, the longest reigning heavyweight champion, 11 and a half years, with a record number of title defenses. When he first retired, he was 60-1 with that one loss to Max Schmeling, which he avenged with a first-round knockout. Don't you want to be like him? I know I do. His coach, Jack Blackburn, who, when you're seeing this, I either have done a video on or I'm about to do a video on, one of the greatest coaches in the history of boxing. What he did with Lewis, who was a right-hander, was he had him do things with his left hand, right? Had him If he had him with a microphone, maybe he would hold the microphone with the left hand, pick up things with the left hand, carry his gym bag with his left hand, eat his food with his left hand to get him more connected and to build up those neural pathways, as well as just the strength and endurance, but also just that coordination effect. So throughout your day, be mindful of how much you use your dominant hand and try to use your less dominant hand more, because the more you develop that less dominant hand, the more you become a two-handed fighter. You don't want to be a one-handed fighter, you'll be a two-handed fighter. Yes, right? Now, the next thing that leads me into number 3, arm swings. What does that mean? Arm swings. When you're walking, when you're doing anything throughout the day, think about it. When you're boxing in the ring, you want to go left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. We walk left, right, left, right. We don't walk left, left, left. And then as well with our arms, we go left, right, left, right. We go in this fashion. When you run, everything else. What I challenge you to do is try to go left, 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 left. So if I'm walking, I'm here and I'm engaging this arm. Just throwing little punches out in the air as I'm walking, bam, bam, keeping this arm engaged. So now I'm not programmed to go left, right, nonstop. When you run, try running here, boom, 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 throwing multiple little, just light little movements with the lead hand to make yourself, and do it with the rear hand too. So you get used to not being programmed like we are all programmed to be left, right, 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 because you can, anyone with any skill can counter left, right fairly easily. It's fairly predictable. Okay, let's change the pattern. Some of the greatest fighters and most of the greatest fighters in history of boxing did some form of doubling up with the hand, and typically it was the lead hand. All right, now next one, your shoulders. Big thing. This is a big thing. All these things are things I had to work on, but this was a big one. Is my dad was always telling me to relax. And I was like, I am relaxed. At least I thought I was, but I wasn't. There's a lot of ways and places I had tension. I had tension in my legs even. I had tension in my shoulders, though. I didn't have tension in my core overly, interestingly enough. I was relaxed there. But everywhere else, legs, I had tension. Here, I had tension. When I boxed, but then also throughout my day. I'd walk around throughout my day and not realize that my shoulders were slightly shrugged. And a lot of young men have this problem. They walk around with their shoulders slightly shrugged like this. Tension, built-in tension right there. And then you take that into your sparring, you take that into your fight. No. You want to eliminate that tension as much as possible. And no, it's not just because your shoulders are big or whatever, right? My shoulders are relatively big, but right now my shoulders are relaxed. If they're like this, they're not. So put those arms down and just relax. Walk around. Make that focus when you're sitting at a table or when you're walking throughout your day or driving the car. Focus on relaxing. Also, that will help you out as well with boxing, because guess what? You have so much wear and tear and work on your traps and shoulders that if you're also contracting those things away from that time unnecessarily, arbitrarily throughout your day, it's not allowing those muscles a chance to relax, to rest, and to recover. So let's do that. All right. Now, the next thing, and again, what this is so beautiful at, guys, before we get into point number 5, got the 7 points there, killing it. But what's so great about this, guys, is now it's actually putting you in a mindful place. We go throughout our day nowadays just like this, but before those times, just like in a haze, and we're not mindful of all these little things to bring you aware and bring you into the moment, and your ability to be more mindful, to be more locked dead on into the moment. It's what creates higher performance, better performance in the ring, and in all of life. All right, so it's amazingly powerful. By the way, if you want to work with me one-on-one, I have that elite level boxing program. I work with quite a few different people across the entire world. They've seen a lot of progress already. You could be having the same progress right now. Click on the Patreon page, check that out. I know for some people, it might be a little pricey, but I promise you, it'll be worth it. You and I will structure out a program together, and I will review every single round that you do, every single day that you do it, and give you a pathway that's drawn out for you for success. So click on the link. I'll see you there. Now, going on to number 5, mouth breathing. Mouth breathing. We're all breathing throughout our mouth, and I'm not going to give you some pseudoscience garbage about nose breathing, this, that, and the other thing. But regardless, your ability to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, from my experience, is very beneficial. Your ability to do that is important. So make sure you make a habit of not just being a mouth breather. Close your mouth, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, or breathe in through your nose, out through the nose. And that's a great way to, again, be a little bit more mindful of your breath, because in the ring, you have to be mindful of your breath as well. Let's be mindful of our breath in life. Now, number 6, then we got number 7. Number 6, this is going to be, I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback on this one, but I'm going to give it to you right now. Sleeping on your stomach. So I was going to say sleeping with other people. No, I'm not going to say that one. Because at the end of the day, what actually robs a fighter of their stamina and things like that is not when they sleep with other people. It's when they stay up all night. If you were sleeping with, if you do your thing with somebody and you go to bed at 9 p.m., that would be too late. 9 p.m., you'll be good. And that's fine. But if you stay up till 9 a.m. or 4 a.m. in the morning because you're messing around all night, that's a problem. That's problematic. And think about correlation versus causation, right? So again, you're staying up late with a lady or whatever, right? That's going to wear you out for the next day at the gym because you're staying up late, right? So is it the intercourse or is it that? It's probably that. Now, also, what also goes along with that? Maybe eating a little bit too much, right? Overeating, maybe drinking a little bit too much alcohol, really. Maybe some other things, other drugs, other stressors as well. There's a lot of things that go along with that are problematic. So therefore, think about it. If you're a boxing coach, it's easy to say, hey, don't mess around with ladies. And now you cut out all those things, right? Now, of course, with a mature individual, who is in a good relationship, everything else, it's not a problem. But go to bed early, everything else. All right. Now, rest is so important. The rest is obvious. Then the sleeping one. So 6, sleeping on your stomach. All right. I know right now people are going to be in the comments, hey, I can't sleep anywhere else but on my stomach. I used to be the same way until I started having some neck issues. I started having neck issues before I stopped boxing, and then it hits me so hard when I was in Mexico in 2010. July 4th is actually the day it interfered with my spinal cord and really messed me up. But I would always be sleepy on my stomach. And what happens when you sleep on your stomach is you relax, and then your head starts turning and actually gets hyper extended basically on that pillow. So wake up, jacking up your neck. If you don't feel it, you will eventually. Okay, because maybe you're younger right now, you're more flexible, it's not a problem, but eventually it will cause you problems. It causes other problems as well with your traps and shoulders and everything else. So learn to sleep on your back or on your side if you need to, but back is very much ideal, because also if you have some shoulder challenges and you sleep on that challenged shoulder, you're going to make injury more likely and harder to recover from. All right, big one. Coach Keith told it to you. Do it. I don't care how hard it is too, because you can program yourself. I said exactly what you're saying right now if you're saying this is hard. And I don't ever sleep in my stomach at all anymore. Doesn't happen. Not even by accident. All right. Now, last one. Number 7. Here's one for you guys that like to watch boxing. Here it is. I know I got someone saying oh man, you trying to tell people what fighters to watch and not watch. Yeah, of course. I tell my boxers, I'm their coach. I'm their teacher. And just like any teacher, if somebody is trying to learn how to do, I don't know, architecture, and they're watching someone that kind of just was messing a whole bunch of architecture up, or just got lucky for a while, maybe had somebody that sent them a lot of money so they could build up horrible buildings, and that person's studying with that person, then I'm gonna say, yeah, don't watch that person, because I see all the trouble. Or, better yet, here's a better example. Let's take the architecture thing. Somebody, you're a teacher, right? An architect teacher, and you're teaching somebody, or you're mentoring somebody to build buildings. They're learning how to build buildings, let's say, in the Southeast. That's fine. They're building buildings in the Southeast, not a problem. But your problem is you're in California, and you're right by the fault line. And they're trying to build buildings like they would build them in the Southeast, but you're like, no. We have to take other things into account. This is earthquake country here. Earthquake comes pretty often. When it comes, it's going to destroy the way you're building it, because you're building it for the Southeast, a place where it's not going to be problems. Now, of course, maybe you're someone that has studied to build houses in maybe Oklahoma, right? And you know how to build houses and really build something that makes sense to ward off of tornadoes and things like that. But then, wait a second, now you're building houses on the coast in Florida, And wait, it's right on the coast. And it's literally sea level. It's flat. It's not up on stilts at all. It's not elevated at all. It doesn't have anything to protect against floods and everything else that would come up from hurricanes. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? No. Don't study that. Don't build like that. That's what it is when I tell people what fighters to watch. But that's not what tip number 7 is. That's a whole nother bonus tip for you, okay? Tip number 7 is, I had this problem a lot. Don't watch highlights. Now, I know you're going through Instagram and you see a highlight. I understand. That's cool. That's fine. I'm not saying like, oh my God, you're infected and you watch the highlight and now you're just going to be a garbage fighter. It's going to ruin you for the rest of your life. No. What I'm saying is, don't go out there just seeking highlights. Set aside time. You see, okay, here we go. You see a highlight you like. You're like, ooh, that was a cool move that guy did. Nice. Instead of doing what most of us do, which is like maybe they download or they save that clip. Like, oh, that was awesome. Cool. Awesome. Let me go try that next time I spar or my next fight. Be like, okay, that was cool. Let me go find that fight. Go find that fight. Watch that fight. Watch everything else because that's the meat. That's the nourishment and the information. The nourishment to you as a fighter is when you watch it in its total context. You watch about what that person was doing before it and after it. That set up the knockdown, that set up the knockout, that set up the cool thing or whatever. Also, who were they doing it against? Right? Who were they doing it against? Were they doing it against someone that didn't belong in the ring with them? Well, unless you're only working with people who don't belong in the ring with you, maybe you don't need to do that move. Maybe that move doesn't belong in your repertoire to practice that much. Maybe you need to focus on the foundations, focus on the 80 to 99% else they did in the fight or in their fights that was right. For that little bit that isn't necessarily wrong, but isn't necessarily necessary, right? Again, to build it back to the house analogy, I act like I build houses and stuff like that. I know nothing about building houses, but it's a good analogy that I think we can all understand. You're building a house, and your job is to build your house, not something else. You're not an interior decorator, but you're spending all the time on the interior decoration, and you really got that locked down. You know exactly the color scheme you're going to do inside of your house, but wait, no. We're still building the house. No, you're like, that's good. That's fine. I don't need to get that down. Just get together as fast as possible. I don't really know, whatever. Just nails go to wood. That's it. We're good. I'm concerned about the color scheme in the house. What type of furniture are we going to have, right? What are the windows going to look like? All right. What picture am I going to hang on the wall? That's what you're focused on, where you've built a shitty house. Don't be that as a fighter. All right, guys. If you enjoy this video, make sure you click like, subscribe, comment below. Really appreciate your support. Again, if you want to work with me one-on-one, check out the elite level custom programs that I do now for people across the world. And they've already had a lot of success with it. I know you will as well. Also have quite a few other programs that are like lower barrier opportunities that you can jump on as well. Great stuff. Now, I'll see you there. And make sure you watch this video right here that popped up on your screen because it's exactly what you need.